Hello everyone, and welcome back to Make Believe, where we're playing the house in Fata Morgana. Now, we've been in the era of innovation with Jacopo, the silver-haired girl, which is his wife, and one of the servants, Maria. So, the silver-haired girl was telling Maria about a time in the past when her and Jacopo were having their honeymoon visiting the town, and he was showing her the image that made kind of like an animation. So beautiful recollections. Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner. What? We're leaving already? Does that displease you? No, not no. Tell the truth, I wanted to spend a little more time playing with the Fennecis will, but I could not bring myself to say as much. Okay, yeah, this is her thinking or telling Maria this. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel. Don't bother. Bring it with you. What? But if you don't want it, that's fine too. Just make your decision quickly. Chop chop. You're making the driver wait. Having said that, Jacopo exited the shop. I alternated between looking at his back and the Fennecis will, debating what I wanted to do. And then, with a smile, the owner whispered to me, "You're allowed to keep it, really. Husband out there had it made as a gift for you." Ah, he's just not good with his words. For me? A little while back, he came to my shop asking if I could make a Phenakistoscope. Phenakistoscope. Now that about knocked me out of my chair. He's a man who almost never asks for favors. He's a pretty damn brusque, and he's got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel. But he's not wicked to his core, I swear it. I know it looks like that, but deep, deep, deep down, there is something. So please, ma'am, be a pillar of support for him. He's in desperately need of one. In that moment, the Fennecis will became a precious treasure to me. We had only just married days earlier. And yet, he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with a warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jacopo was not a bad man. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Yeah, as I was saying, when he told about the gift. Oh yeah. And the way Jacopo treated it was not the greatest. Hurrying back to the carriage, I gave him my deepest thanks. He glanced over at me for a moment, then turned back towards the window and muttered, "Yeah." From there, we went to a restaurant for dinner. You call this pizza? The crust is an atrocity. It's like I'm chewing on rubber. How can you wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti? Do you have any shame at all? This wine is beautifully unbalanced, or to a high level of acidity. Listen to me carefully. The house wine is the face of a restaurant. He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. But curiously enough, I was not at all put off by his behavior. When the sun set, the carriage made its way to a nearby hill. A cool nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin, flushed from the alcohol. and the light from the gas lamps had a comforting warmth to it. Though Jacopo had complained about the quality of the wine, once he had intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. It made him unexpectedly talkative. Look out at the city. A gloomy town that shuts down at night isn't suited to expansion or growth. But this city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath the lamps, and you can hear the bustle of them talking. This is a city that still has plenty of room to grow. As they ride the rising wave of the economy, many more people will gather here. More people means more money circulation. More money circulation means the city grows, companies are founded, and more goods are bought and sold. Will it really change so drastically? It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside. The majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing they know, things are different. Now, I'd wager most don't notice it changes at all. Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can see success. I cannot afford to overlook even the most minute change. Do you have a dream of some kind? Cue the hangout music. He's got a dream. He's got a dream. He's got a dream. A dream? I'm not sure if it's easy enough to attain to call a dream. Others might call it greed, or perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine. A little ambitious, just a tad. The world? Yes, the world. And to do that, you need either physical strength nor kindness. Neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. Yes, well, people have no choice but to kneel before those forces. Why are you so intent on obtaining power? Thus, I want to change my country, I imagine. The country? You are aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I immigrated from an island in the Mediterranean, though not the same island as you. My country is a peculiar place, where candor and violence go hand in hand. As a whole, the country is on the poor side, and if nobody does anything about that, I'm one. But I'm one of but a few of my fellow countrymen who had set his sights onto the new world. They are falling far behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that will catch their attention. But if it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse. You have much love for your homeland. My feelings are a little more complicated than mere love. But that's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Well, I'll have to remember not to get myself drunk around a woman again. Don't want to spill any more beans. Forget everything I just said. It's about time we head back to the house. Alright, but, what is it? Is it alright if I provide you encouragement as you try to attain your dream? I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance, but I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward. I suppose. Do as you wish. Thank you. You have my support then. The darling? Sent a shiver down my spine. Though not an unpleasant one. I'm glad to have you, my partner. I was, without a doubt, happy then. His smile, the things he said, the Fennecis will he gave me, they were all undeniably real. And those memories give me the will to wait for the day things go back to the way they were. For the day things go back to the way they were, they allow me to believe. This is something that actually happened to another maid. She heard a sound in the middle of the night. Sounded like dripping water. At first, she thought it was raining, so she looked through the window, and there was a cloud in the sky to cover the stars. Maybe it's a faucet, she thought, so she stepped out of her room and into the corridor. Compared to her room, it was unearthly chilly. The maid regretted not bringing something to cover herself with. But that didn't make any sense. Normally, the temperature wasn't that much colder outside her room. Her night clothes had always been more than enough for a trip to the lavatory. Wondering what the reason could be, she made her way towards the sound. But then, she realized something. There were no faucets in the direction she was going. Rather, she was headed towards a hall. The mansion where she served had many halls, but this was one off in the far corner of the house, the least used hall of them all. He had a high roof, but not a lot of space, so it was difficult to make good use of. He also had a somewhat heavy air to it, a very curious room. It was the kind of place you might assign someone to clean as part of their hazing. Anyway, when the maid realized the sound was coming from that particular hall, she, as you might expect, let out an uncomfortable sigh. But there might be a leak, and having noticed, she couldn't simply ignore it, you know? So, as much as she hesitated, she pushed open the doors to the hall. There was nobody there, and it didn't look like anything was leaking either. There were no puddles or water stains anywhere to be found. But she could still hear the sound. Drip, drip, getting louder and louder. Slowly stepping further into the room, looking left, then right, then left again, she searched for the source of the sound, coming to a stop in the center of the hall. I'm just imagining that she has to look up, and that's when she'll find the source. She stood there still, quiet, and then a chilly spot on the nape of her neck. With a little yelp, she reached back to feel her neck, but it wasn't wet. Confused, she slowly, warily tilted her head backward and looked up. Well then, not what I expected to find on the ceiling. And there hung a bloody skeleton from the ceiling. That's rich. Amazing. Oh my god. You screamed like a little girl. I forgot this jazzy music. Maria, you little. My god, are you men or children? This is my house, and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Whose words were those again? Shut your mouth. How do you know about that? Were you eavesdropping? And another thing, I do not care for the sort of stupid, fantastical tales you women so love to pass around. because that they scare you? Ah, you'll never be able to handle anything scary, Jacopo. Ugh. Whoa, don't glare at me like that. You're gonna destroy my sides. So, did you come here for the sole purpose of telling me that cheap tripe acting tough after the fact just makes you look twice as much of a wuss, you know? Well, I mean, I did make up a good half of it, but the maid really did hear a sound in the middle of the night. And it came from the back hall of this very mansion. Did you know they said it used to be a chapel? Again, I have no interest in you woman's little ghost stories. Is that so? You sure you're not just scared? Maria! Well, that said, the rumors are completely unfounded. This is a pretty old mansion, and there had been a lot of work done on it. And I feel like it's barely holding itself together, you know? Like a big old quilt, with pieces from all different time periods. The back hall is one of the oldest patches. There's a huge window on the far end, and supposedly there used to be a stained glass in it. It was a depiction of our archangel, they say. Such a shame. I wonder when it was broken. If it were still there, I bet it'd be worth a fortune. I find that hard to believe. First of all, why would anyone put a chapel inside a mansion? You get a point, I guess. Now, how about you do some actual work, instead of distracting yourself with all this nonsense? I do work. But, the other mates can be a bit nasty, you know? Dealing with the other woman's like walking on glass. Am I to blame for that? What if I said you were? Don't give me that look now. You're just not fun on me. Simple as that. Nothing you can do about it, sir. Is that so? Oh yeah, I was talking to the madam, and she was telling me you used to be quite the gentleman. Were you, perhaps, actually in love back then? You sure don't act like it, so it's easy to miss. But I guess you're not made entirely out of steel. Just like when you were younger. You still do not speak of that. The past is not worth remembering. It is unnecessary. So to you, the past exists just to be cast aside? Nah, it's not important. You don't want me to talk about it. I won't talk about it. But your wife... Never mind. I'll leave you be. I'll have to get back to work soon. Or I'll be staring down the head maid's Arctic smile. Alright. If the fancy strikes me, I'll drop by and we can trade more ghost stories. Maria? What? No ghost stories? No, not that. I have not forgotten those days. But, no, it's... I'll be off then. Alright. If the fancy strikes you, drop by and we can trade something other than ghost stories. What'd I tell you? I'll consider it. Goodbye. Ooh. That's a nice art for him. I mean, he doesn't look very happy, but the art's pretty nice. God damn it. I can't escape anything. They have grown so beautiful. Is it the rose garden? Such a wonderful fragrance. The scent of roses is so calming. Roses. This place looks very familiar. I wonder why that is. Would it cause any trouble if I picked one? This shoe here, like, okay. Well, hello there. Out for a midnight stroll, are you? Quite a peculiar hobby, Adam. A midnight stroll? So they're in the middle of the night, these two at the Rose Garden. Remind someone of anything? Uh, um, I cannot spend as much time as I would like outside during the day, so I end up coming out at night. I apologize if I startled you. Oh no, not at all. There is a chilling, captivating beauty to the sight of your snow-white form standing there in the moonlit garden. I would hardly... What are you doing so out late? I saw a figure through the window. The slight chance it might be a burglar, I thought it my responsibility to ensure they did not break in. It was also the middle of the night when the grocer servant broke into their safe. News of that spread quite far. I'm sure you would have heard about it. Oh, but Gamache was in prison some time ago. Dear me, I cannot seem to get my head out of the past. Okay, I might be wrong, but wasn't the story back with um Neil and Nelly? Uh, um, do you didn't give that white rose to someone? It, yes. I was thinking about giving it to my husband. While I expect he has little fondness for such feminine tastes, the scent of flowers has a truly calming effect. He might find it relaxing when he needs a reprieve from his work. Oh, that's so. You are very kind-hearted, madam. Speaking of white roses, the roses he meant to give you was the same shade of white. He? Oh? He? But when you touched it, it turned a deep shade of red. Yeah, she's talking about the other time they met here. But it seems like, well, the maid, yeah, that exact scene. But it seems like while the maid lives for centuries, the silver-haired girl keeps being reincarnated. Though some memories of her past are still left somewhere deep inside. There was but a single white rose in the garden, so he was unable to give it to you as he had wished. In its place, he had a decorative rose fashioned for you. Um, what exactly are you referring to? Oh dear, do you not remember? Then am I to assume you have forgotten what happened to the rose accessory? He was unable to give that to you either. At that time, because you rejected the gift. I'm not criticizing you for that decision, of course. I had a perfectly good reason for not accepting it. Heartbroken from having lost you, you buried the rose in this garden. Over the years, the rose in the garden withered away, and in their place grew a thick, unsightly nest of weeds. Many, many years later, the accessory was dug up by a beast. Yep. And curiously enough, it had not a speck of rust on it. Beast? You did not remember him either? The foreign man who, through his interactions with you, almost regained his humanity. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you speak of. The only gift I have ever received from a man is my Fennekin's will, and furthermore, I have only lived in suspension for a year. While the garden was not as thriving as it is now, it was certainly not in ruins when I arrived. Because I have been taking care of it, yes. But for whatever reason, by my hands alone, I was unable to make it into anything quite as splendid as it is now. Once you arrived and began to work on it, however, just look around. You have restored it to its former glory, to the magnificence of the flaxen-haired family's time. I promise I'm not trying to fault you for anything. Now that I think about it, it makes sense you would not remember. Though you are still you, you're different than before. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Basically a reincarnation. Different. Though not in the sense you are a wholly distinct person. Tell me, your name again? Are they never gonna tell me the name? My name is... Yes, but you should already know that. Again? More proof that you're indeed you. Did you know that your current name is pronounced the same as the name of the person you're waiting for? What? The person you're just waiting for? What are you talking about? I've met you many times, and I know of your past, of events that transpired long, long ago. Uh, um, I, I, I'm telling the truth. I first came to this mansion just a year ago. Until then, I'd never left my country, or even set foot out of my own house even. We did not have any servants either. So, where then are you saying we met? This mansion, of course. But I'm telling the truth. It was a year ago, shortly after my parents fell ill and received an offer for my marriage. I knew something had to be done. I knew it, and so I'm, I'm telling the truth. If that is what you remember, then I do not doubt you. But I also suspect I know why you seem so flustered. Are there moments when your memory seems hazy? When it seems like important details have fallen through the cracks? You needn't fret. One day, eventually, you shall remember it all. One day. Oh, I'm waiting for that day, but I imagine that's gonna be near the end of the game. What the hell is this? White Rose? Did she leave this here? Flower. What does she think she's doing? She trying to aggravate me? Why? Does he have something in his past against flowers? That garden. That damn rose garden is the whole problem. Oh god, is he gonna destroy the garden? Flowers serve no purpose but to deceive. Oh, yeah, it does sound like stuff happened in the past. That garden is a sign of weakness. It has no place in this house. Approximately a week had passed since then. The white hair girl was, as usual, spending her time in her room, reading, staying inside the house. Then, Maria barged in. Madam? Madam? Oh my, you're out of breath. What happened? What happened is we have a big problem. The garden, the rose garden. Garden? All the roses you put so much love and care into growing are being chopped down. We'll lose them all if we don't hurry. Upon hearing the news, the white-haired girl dashed from her room and towards the garden, with Maria following close behind. I really like the soundtrack for this chapter. When she arrived, we saw a dozen or so sweaty, rugged men at work. Jacopo was shouting orders. The men clearly had no concept of how much a single flower was worth, no concern whatsoever for their beauty, for their mercilessly, thoughtlessly hacked away at the shrubs, like they were naught but weeds. Each flower they tore from the earth extinguished another of the many lives the white-haired girl had put so much time and effort into tending for. Jacopo, what are you? Oh, hello, Maria. I didn't expect you would come with her. Why would you do? Why? Why, it goes without saying. This house has no need of a garden. Damn flowers have no place here. Might as well do something worthwhile with the soil. A miniature railroad would be a better use of the space. I'm sorry, what? A miniature railroad? And certainly a great deal easier on the eyes. I'm not sure that would be easier on the eyes, and I'm still trying to grasp at you having a miniature railroad in the garden. I could even get my hands on some genuine wheels. The same wheels being used on the revolutionary Transcontinental Railroad. 10 or 20 years down the line, they'll be worth a fortune. Jacopo, you know how much this garden meant to me, don't you? Did it honestly have no place here? Flowers have a calming effect on people. They give you peace. They're not, by any means, worthless. So you're saying that White Rose was your passive-aggressive way of telling me to calm down? Not at all. I simply thought you... At the end of the day, you're just using them for your own purpose. Trick and deceive. What? I'm very curious to know where's this coming from. What happened in his past for him to have this bad experience with flowers? To you, this rose garden was nothing but... Jacopo, you're gone too far. This isn't right. Gone too far. This is my mansion. What I do with my property is my business. With that rose arc out of the picture, we'll have a much better view. There won't be anything blocking the sun any longer. Well, that's kind of the big deal here. That's the whole point. Aren't you supposed to be sensitive to sunlight? Exactly. Spend too much time out here, and you're liable to fall ill. Get back inside now. You too, Maria. The poor thing, though she did not say a word, was surely thinking, are you truly that determined to rob me of my sanctuary? The words swirled around her head, unable to make the final journey to her lips. Wow, what a line. She stood there, looking down at her own feet as her husband marched off, and listened to the screams of the roses being reaped. After being torn down by Jacopo, the garden reverted to a state of ruined desolation. A shame, after all the work that went to restoring it to the beauty it had under the flaxen hair family. And as Jacopo had said, in its place went scraps of metal, brain wheels, prototype models, carbon rods. These items may have had value for him, but I certainly do not think it was worth robbing his wife of a place that made her feel comfortable, just so he could store them there. Besides, I was rather fond of the rose garden myself, too. The rose seemed to evoke a sense of nostalgia in me. I felt as though, somewhere far beyond the edges of my memories, I had seen another garden of roses, modest though it may have been. But I cannot remember when it was. Does that come as a surprise to you? I am quite sure there are periods of the mentioned history of which I'm not aware. But in any case, Jacopo had caused many people great pain in order to repurpose that garden for himself. and he continued to walk all over his wife. Whenever she tried to do something kind for him, he would brush her off, saying, "That's not your place." He paid no mind whatsoever to the looks of dejection that rose to her face each time he rejected her. I was beginning to wonder if anything she had said about the man he had been a year earlier was actually true. And if it was true, could a person really go through such a drastic change of heart in such a short time? What do you think, Master? No, I have spoken enough about me already. I seem to be talking a lot about myself this time, but that is hardly appropriate behavior for a maid. Now, let us return to our tale. That evening, the white-haired girl sat in her room, staring sorrowfully at her fennicus wheel. A small mirror before her, she tried spinning the paper disc, but it was just not the same as before. Her husband was not there at her side, and even more critically, there was not a smile on her face. And then, heard a faint knock on her door. I'm guessing that's Maria? Who is it? It's me, madam. It's me. May I come in? Oh, Maria. Of course. Come in. What are you doing here at this time of night? I was just wondering how you were doing. Could I have left you alone? No trouble at all. I'm always glad to have you. You're making me blush, madam. I got the feeling you were a little down in the dumps. So I'm not here because I need to be. I just kinda end up here, I guess. Maria. Sorry, I'm not making any sense. I can be a bit of a busybody, you know? Trouble with the boundaries, I guess. Never being able to fix that. No, I don't consider you intrusive at all. I cannot count how many times your bright smile and cheerful energy have shone a light on me when things were dark. If I didn't have you, I would have given up already. You seem to see right through me. Even now, you're exactly right. I'm feeling a little dispirited. That garden was an even bigger life raft than I thought. Perhaps I am being overly dramatic, but the roses were almost like children to me. I get it. I do. You put your heart and soul into tending to that garden. It was obvious how much you loved them. Of course it's gonna hurt watching a bunch of men stomp all over your flowers when you care for them like your own children. Now, I know I said this once already, but you don't need to force yourself to put up with him, really. You don't have to bend to his will just because you're a woman. You can survive without him. And anytime you want to walk away, your choice. I mean, I'd sure be alone if you left, madam, but your happiness is more important than any of that. So, you know. Thank you, Maria. I truly do appreciate it. But I would still like to wait for the day I can see his warm smile once more. If you say so. Well, in that case, guess I would just have to be there to back you up. It'll be alright. You leave everything to this holy virgin. I'll have a stupid grin on my face no matter how down you're feeling. You really are the reincarnation of the Mother of God, aren't you? Oh, you. I told ya, it's just a joke. Whatever. Now, hey, madam, how about a dance? A dance? At this time of the night? Yep, and since it's so late, no loud music. All I get is a little whistling courtesy of me. But this room is too small for... I'll use the grand hall. Wouldn't that put us in everyone else's way? You would probably complain about the noise too. No need to worry. Jacopo's out inspecting some factories or something today. After that, he's got a meeting, or so he'll be staying the night elsewhere. The rest of the maids are in the room, chatting away. No one will notice. Where I come from, we dance all the time. We take eat, drink, and be merry to heart. No food or drink for us, but we absolutely can dance. Dance is a great way to forget all your cares. I'm not much of a dancer. No big deal. Nobody's watching. Come on, put on a little fancy perfume and let's have some fun. Don't have any perfume though. Really a perfume for that? Didn't think so. You got all the right ingredients, madam, but you don't try to make anything special out of them. You got so much potential, but not even a decent sized wardrobe. At the very least, you should wear some perfume. Which is why... Ta-da! I brought some with me. The maids are in love with this stuff. It's a big hit with women all over the country. The base is vanilla and it's got several other fragrances mixed in. Give it a try. It smells divine. But Maria, Come on, what's the harm? Just a little splash on your wrist, like so. What do you think? You're right. It smells wonderful. Doesn't it? So, you like it? Yes, very much so. Excellent. Now off we go to the Great Hall. Are you really going to dance? You bet your butt we are. It's not healthy to hole up in your room all day. You hear that, everyone? I know you can't handle a lot of sunlight, but I know you still got to have some fun and move your body. Come on, let's go. Oh, Maria. Are we gonna be able to see them dance? Though she looked outwardly uncertain as Maria led her forward, hand around her wrist, white-haired girl seemed to be enjoying herself on the inside. Having spent her life without a single friend, she never dreamed a day would come when she would find herself being dragged through the empty halls of a dark mansion by another woman. Maria's presence seemed to shine a light upon the quiet corridor. It would have been a very lonely track without her. Maria spun around, gave an impish smirk, and raised her pointer finger to her lips with a soft shh. The sight of it caused the white-haired girl to chuckle quietly. The two of them, on their way to the secret private ball, were like two adolescent girls. In short order, they arrived at the Great Hall. My heart was pounding all the way here. What's there to be nervous about? Not like you're breaking any rules. Only kids get in trouble for staying up late. Once you're grown up, you're responsible for yourself. I will say, though, it seems rather odd for two women to dance together. Oh, if you're having a good time, what does it matter what's between your legs? Where I come from, there are dances where family lock arms in a big ring and go round in circles. So who says two girls can have some fun together? Imagine you had many good memories with your family. Well, I don't have a family anymore. What? Alright, so I'll show you how it's done. Watch carefully, because you're up next. Okay. With a wide grin on her face, Maria began whistling softly and prancing across the floor with an energetic rhythm. It was not the kind of complicated dance you see at fancy parties. The motions were simple, flowing, embellished. Folk dance, I suppose you might call it. She seemed to be improvising a little bit as well. But in any event, the white-haired girl was captivated. Despite it being a sequence of steps anyone could replicate, Maria breathed life into the dance. She was neither as lithe as an acrobat, nor as light on her feet as a professional dancer. It was her own, lively, beautiful self. Ooh, I like that. I like that line. Maria twirled in place, the skirt of her maid uniform billowing gently up around her. With a smile, she extended her hand towards the white-haired girl. She hesitated for a moment, but as if being pulled forward by some invisible force, she took Maria's hand. Hand in hand, Maria ushered the white-haired girl into her dance. It was just the two of them, but you could almost hear the crowd forming around them. The other people stepping up to join in. That's it, madam. Doing great. Now lift your leg up. Good. And spin like so. It's not easy, Maria. I'm having trouble following along. You can do it. Looking good so far. You're a natural, madam. Oh, Maria. I won't fall for your flattery. I mean it. The whispers of two girls. Their muffled laughs. Snap, pop, snap, snap. The rustling of fabric. Many different soft sounds layered atop one another, creating a little bubble of happiness in the center of the hall. The white-haired girl's movements were a great deal clumsier than Maria's, but Maria would never disparage her for that. On the contrary, she showered her with praise. As fluttered as the white-haired girl appeared, flustered, I imagine she was quite pleased. Before long, the tightness in her face muscles loosened, a smile spread across her lips, and she began to brighten up. See? What'd I tell you? Fun, huh? Yes, I'm quite surprised. Both that I can dance, and that I enjoy doing it so much. Glad to hear it. They exchanged looks and both laughed. That might have been the first time I had ever seen the white-haired girl so delighted. However, because of her infirmity, she quickly found herself out of breath. Porcelain skin, flesh red. Maria immediately stopped for a break. We could surely have continued dancing for some time yet, but Maria was conscious of the white-haired girl's physical condition. She looked over at Maria regretfully. My apologies. Only I had more stamina. I am hardly a suitable partner for you, Maria. You are. This is all to cheer you up, madam. As long as you're having fun, nothing else matters. And heck, I'm enjoying myself playing too. What do you think? Wouldn't it be nice to do this again sometime? Whenever you're feeling down, let's dance. If you really do enjoy dancing with a frail girl like me, then I would be glad to. Have a little more confidence in yourself, madam. You're so pretty and kind-hearted. I have loads of fun when I'm with you. So you don't need to be so hard on yourself, got it? Thank you. The pleasure is mine. This is an absolute honor to have the rare opportunity to see such a bright smile on your face, madam. My apologies for keeping you out so late. Should get back to my room. Oh, I didn't even realize what time it was. I'm more than up for a little more gun flapping. You have improved my mood more than adequately. I would not want you to be tired for work tomorrow. Hey. Well then, let's get out of here. Yes, let's. Smiles on both their faces, they made to exit the Great Hall. However, before they reached the door, it swung open. That's what I was expect that was gonna happen. But we're gonna live on this cliffhanger for next time. So yeah, this was the episode. I'm very curious if we're ever gonna learn what has Jacopo so distraught with roses, with flowers, that he believes they are just to trick and deceive. And he even went as far as destroying the garden that the silver-haired girl loved so much, to the point that she was left appalled. And Maria went there to help her out, help her cheer up as they danced the night away. However, somebody showed up. I imagine it's Jacopo, since those are the three main characters we have here. But who knows what happens? Well, we're gonna find out next episode. That being said, see you next time. Bye!